For men over 50, is masturbation a helpful tool for staying sexually active, or can it become a hindrance to a healthy, fulfilling sex life? It's a question many men have, but very few discuss openly. The answer isn't a simple good or bad. The reality is far more nuanced, and it depends heavily on how you do it, and more importantly, why you do it. As men enter their 50s, 60s, and beyond, they are navigating natural physiological shifts, changes in testosterone levels, blood circulation, and the quality and reliability of erections. This makes understanding the true impact of our sexual habits more critical than ever before. In this video, we're going to break down the science behind how masturbation affects the mature male brain and body. We'll look at the hidden risks, especially when it's combined with pornography. We'll debunk some persistent myths, and we'll explore healthier, more effective ways to maintain your sexual health for years to come. So, why are we having this conversation now more than ever? The landscape of human sexuality has been dramatically reshaped over the last couple of decades. Periods of increased stress, significant changes in our daily routines, or social isolation can lead all of us to alter our sexual habits. For mature men, this might mean turning to solo activities more frequently. But the biggest change is the unlimited access to online pornography. This has introduced something that neuroscientists call a supernormal stimulus. A supernormal stimulus is an exaggerated, artificial version of a natural trigger that the brain finds more appealing than the real thing. Think of it like this: our ancestors craved sugar because it was a rare source of energy. Today, we have candy bars, a concentrated, supernormal version of that craving that our biology was never designed to handle. Pornography acts in the same way. It's a supernormal stimulus for sexual desire, presenting a constant stream of novelty, impossible scenarios, and exaggerated performances that real-life intimacy simply can't compete with. When this supernormal stimulus becomes a regular part of a man's sexual routine, especially after 50, it can begin to hinder, rather than help, his sexual health. So how exactly can this habit become a hindrance? It all comes down to the way your brain is wired. Your brain is incredibly adaptive. It builds and reinforces neural pathways based on repeated behaviors. When you masturbate, especially if you do it in the same way every time, you are training your brain to respond to a very specific set of stimuli. This is where we run into a major problem I call the stimulus gap. First, let's talk about the physical gap. When you masturbate, you're in complete control. You determine the grip, the pressure, the speed, and the rhythm. It is a perfectly calibrated experience designed to get you to orgasm as efficiently as possible. However, partnered sex is fundamentally different. It's a responsive, dynamic, and sometimes unpredictable experience. It involves the more subtle and varied sensations of a partner's body. If your brain has been trained to expect the high-intensity, specific stimulation of your own hand, the sensations of real intimacy can feel underwhelming. Your brain is essentially waiting for a signal that never arrives, which can make it difficult to get or maintain an erection with a partner. Now, let's add pornography into the mix, which creates an even wider psychological gap. Pornography conditions your brain to link sexual arousal with visual novelty and fantasy. The rapid-fire scene changes and unrealistic scenarios provide a dopamine rush that is completely detached from genuine emotional connection. In a real-life sexual encounter, these artificial triggers are absent. There's no script, no director, and no endless supply of new partners. There is only the authentic, and much more nuanced, connection with another person. When the brain is accustomed to the supernormal stimulus of pornography, it can struggle to find arousal in a real, intimate setting. This stimulus gap, both physical and psychological, can lead to very real and distressing sexual problems. First, erectile dysfunction. The man is physically with his partner, but his brain is conditioned to need a different, more intense type of stimulation to respond. Second, ejaculation disorders. This is a big one. It can manifest as delayed ejaculation or even anorgasmia, which is the inability to reach orgasm. You might be able to maintain an erection with your partner, but you can't finish because the stimulation threshold has been set so high by your solo habits that the sensations of partnered sex just aren't enough to get you there. And third, hypoactive sexual desire, or low libido. This might sound counterintuitive, but when a man's primary sexual outlet becomes a high-intensity solo experience, his desire for real-world intimacy can decline. Real sex can start to feel like too much work or a disappointment compared to the guaranteed, easy-to-achieve fantasy. He may lose interest not in sex itself, but in the act of having sex with a partner. So, when does a private habit cross the line into a real problem? The key difference is choice versus compulsion. A healthy habit is something you choose to do. A compulsion is an urge that feels difficult or impossible to control, even when you know it has negative consequences. The habit becomes a problem when it starts to interfere with your life. Are you choosing it over spending quality time with your partner? Is it affecting your sleep, your work, or your mood? Do you feel a sense of shame or anxiety after doing it? These are signs that it may have become a compulsive behavior. Often, this compulsion is tied to underlying emotional issues. It can become a way to cope with stress, loneliness, anxiety, or depression. This creates a vicious cycle. You feel bad, so you turn to the habit for a temporary escape, but the habit then creates more problems in your relationship and personal life, which in turn makes you feel worse. Breaking this cycle is key, and it often requires addressing the root emotional triggers. Now, we've talked a lot about the how and why these issues can develop, and I want you to know that there is hope and there are solutions. Well, later in this video, we're going to cover some crucial lifestyle and physical therapy options. I know many of you watching right now might be looking for a more direct, natural remedy that you can use immediately. For that reason, I want to share a resource about a fascinating 7-second home remedy that is helping thousands of men restore the firm, lasting erections of their youth. It's designed to target what a biomedical engineer discovered is the real, underlying scientific cause of male performance decline, and it's not what most of us think. It's 100% natural and works without pills or pumps. If you want to see exactly how this simple 7-second method works, you can watch a free, eye-opening video right now. Just pull out your phone and point the camera at the QR code on your screen. I've also pinned a direct link in the comments section below this video. Go check that out and then come right back, because we're about to debunk 2 critical myths you absolutely need to know about. Now, let's take a moment to debunk 2 very common and persistent myths that circulate among men, especially those over 50. First is the myth about ejaculation and prostate cancer. You have probably heard the claim that ejaculating frequently, whether through sex or masturbation, can lower your risk of developing prostate cancer. While a few observational studies over the years have suggested a possible link, this is not a proven cause and effect relationship. Correlation is not causation. As of today, no major medical organization, including the American Cancer Society, recommends frequent ejaculation as a strategy for cancer prevention. The proven methods for protecting your prostate health are maintaining a healthy lifestyle, eating a balanced diet, and getting regular medical checkups. So, while masturbation isn't harmful to the prostate, it shouldn't be viewed as a medical treatment. The second myth is that masturbation primes the engine and keeps libido high. The idea is that if you keep the system running, your desire will stay strong. In moderation, solo sex can certainly be part of a healthy sexual life. But as we've discussed, when it becomes excessive or is heavily reliant on pornography, it can do the exact opposite. It leads to desensitization. Instead of priming the engine for a drive with your partner, it can make you lose interest in leaving the garage at all, because the solo experience has become so much more intense and reliable than the perceived challenges of a real journey. This brings us to a very valid concern many men have, the idea of penile disuse. Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it? To a degree, yes. Regular blood flow is essential for maintaining the health and elasticity of the tissues in the penis. A lack of regular erections can, over time, contribute to tissue changes and a worsening of erectile function. So, if compulsive masturbation isn't the ideal solution, what is? Fortunately, there are healthier, medically recognized alternatives to maintain penile health without creating the stimulus gap that harms intimacy. A great place to start is with pelvic floor exercises, also known as Kegels. These exercises are not just for women. They strengthen the very muscles at the base of the penis that are responsible for trapping blood to maintain an erection and for controlling ejaculation. Stronger pelvic floor muscles mean better erectile rigidity and more ejaculatory control. Another therapeutic option is a vacuum erection device, or VED. When used correctly under the guidance of a doctor, a VD is not just for achieving an erection right before sex. It can be used as a form of physical therapy to gently draw blood into the penis for several minutes a day, which helps promote tissue oxygenation and keep the tissues healthy and flexible. And for a more guided and comprehensive approach, you might consider pelvic physiotherapy. A trained pelvic floor physical therapist can create a personalized program of exercises and techniques to optimize your entire pelvic function, addressing the specific muscular and circulatory issues that may be contributing to your sexual health concerns. These methods help maintain the physical hardware without negatively rewiring the software in your brain. So, to return to our original question, can masturbation help or hinder after 50? The answer is that it's all about balance, awareness, and intent. As a conscious, moderate choice that is part of a varied sexual life, it is perfectly healthy. But when it becomes a compulsive, high-intensity habit that is dependent on pornography, it can absolutely hinder your sexual function, your desire for real connection, and the health of your relationships. The key is to prioritize genuine intimacy and to explore the healthier, proven methods we've discussed to maintain your physical function. If any of this has resonated with you, if you feel that your habits might be holding you back, please don't hesitate to speak with a urologist or a therapist. These are common health concerns, and they have real, manageable solutions. If you found this information valuable, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more straightforward content on mature health. Share it with someone who might benefit, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.